Welcome back, Adam here. Today I'm going to be looking at how our Coconut accounting and bookkeeping software integrates with our GoSimpleTax self-assessment software. Don't forget, if you find this type of content useful, like the video and subscribe for more of the same. If you're not already familiar with these two pieces of software, Coconut, first of all, is our accounting and bookkeeping platform, which is available via the app or in browser. It's available to individuals running their own business, but also bookkeepers and accountants who act on behalf of their clients. It's perfect for small sole traders with limited accounting knowledge, as it integrates seamlessly with most major bank accounts, pulling any bank transactions directly into your bookkeeping software automatically. It also allows you to raise and send invoices to customers with very little effort. Those with rental properties both here in the UK and overseas are also among the most common users. GoSimpleTax is our in-browser self-assessment software, loaded with easy-to-use features, all designed to make submitting your tax return a simple process. Now, historically, the problem with using two different pieces of software to maintain and submit records to HMRC is that they don't usually talk to each other, which means that you end up duplicating work. For example, you would usually have to tell your bookkeeping software how much of your spend related to renting an office. And once you've got your total for the year, then you've got to switch across to your self-assessment software, find the appropriate box and enter your figure for office rental. Not only is that inefficient and time consuming, but it leads to more errors on a tax return. The great thing about using Coconut and GoSimpleTax in conjunction is that they are able to talk to each other, cutting out a lot of that duplicated work. Let's switch over and take a look at how this works. So here I am, I'm logged into Coconut, and for those of you that aren't very familiar with the layout, you can see we've got all the tabs along the top. Very quickly, I'll just run through these. So the bookkeeping tab, this is where you'll find your bank feed and all your bank transactions. Remember, you can link this directly to most mainstream bank accounts, and your transactions will feed through automatically. It will refresh on a regular basis and pull through any new transactions that need to be analyzed out. You can then analyze them out by clicking on them and telling the system whether it's income or expenditure. If it's expenditure, what type of expenditure is it? And then it will analyze it correctly for you. You've also got your receipts tab. This is where you can upload copies of receipts and invoices, maintaining your records for future years. Remember, you need to maintain financial records for a number of years after submitting your tax return, so this ensures that you remain compliant. You've got a bank feed that we've mentioned, linking to your mainstream bank account. Invoicing module, so you can raise and send invoices to clients, which is really useful. Self-assessment, which is what we're going to look at more today. So essentially, once you've entered your information into Coconut, rather than you having to extract it again and then go off and submit your tax return, Coconut can integrate with GoSimpleTax and fill out half of your tax return for you, which is really useful. The reports module, so if you want a profit and loss statement or reports by category, you've got them in here. MTD, ITSA or ITSA, income tax self-assessment. This is not compulsory yet, but it will be further down the line. At some point, we won't be submitting annual self-assessment tax returns. We'll actually be doing them quarterly, and we'll have to do them through compliant software. So this is just making sure you are compliant here. And then you've got your profile tab. So that's a little look around the software. Again, what I want to look at today is sending across this information to GoSimpleTax so that we don't have to go and fill out our tax returns manually, or at least we can get the information that Coconut has exported into our tax return. So let's assume that we are happy with the information that we've entered. We've reached the end of a tax year. The last full tax year at the time of making this video is the 22-23 tax year. So I've got all my information in here. I've analyzed it out, and now I want to go and submit my tax return. So I'll head across to self-assessment, and then you'll see in here that you've got a header for self-employment and you've got a header for property. Remember, Lots of self-employed individuals use this software, and their accountants and their bookkeepers, but also if you own property in the UK or overseas, this software is also really useful. And the same really applies, so if you want to use it to populate your tax returns, you can. Now in this example, I'm assuming that I am self-employed. I have a self-employment for the 22-23 tax year, and I want to send that across. So SA 103, that's the self-employed pages of the tax return. So I'm going to click on tax report SA 103, and then I'm going to select the tax year that I want to look at. So 22-23, and I want to view the tax report. In here, I'm just going to check that I'm happy with the details. So you can see I've got income of 19,000, and then I've got some expenses as well. So I've got a little bit of travel expenditure, and then these were consultancy fees, 2,500. 3,000 of allowable expenditure in total should leave me with a self-employed profit for the year of £16,000. Now to send this across to GoSimpleTax, I'm going to click on the send button at the bottom, and then I'm going to close out of this screen and click on switch to GoSimpleTax. Now I actually haven't entered any information into GoSimpleTax, but what you can see is that all the information that I had entered into Coconut has now been transferred across. So the self-employment SA 103 section of the tax return has not only been generated, but all that information, all my bookkeeping information has been moved across here. So I've got my £19,000 of income, and then I've got my £3,000 of expenditure, again split out by category. So I had £500 of travel expenses and £2,500 of consultancy. And in the top left-hand corner, we have the live tax position. So based on that income alone, my £16,000 profits from self-employment, you can see my tax liability is £1,251 and 10 pence. And as you add or take away information from this tax return, that figure will update in real time. Now from here, if I have additional income that I need to declare on my tax return, then I can just go ahead and add additional pages. Maybe I had employment income as well that I need to go and declare. So I can click on employment and then work through all the information that gets requested. If it's the case that self-employment is your only type of income, then that may be the only section that you actually need to create on the tax return. So from here you could continue on and maybe even go on and submit your tax return. If you're not happy with the information that you've got here, let's say you got to this point and you thought, right, actually I did have an extra £1,000 of income, what you'll notice is that because we've sent this information across from Coconut, if we click on here, changes need to be made in the Coconut application. So that's not a problem. To do that, if we want to make changes, what I would do is on the top right, you can click on back to Coconut. We can head back to the main page, to the bookkeeping screen, and then you can make your adjustments. So let's say I received £1,000 of additional income, which I forgot to declare. I can click on manual adjustment. I can click on additional income. This transaction would have to take place in the 22-23 tax year. So we'll just say it took place, for example, at the beginning of April. It's a receipt in, it's £1,000, and it's income. If I add that, and I head back to the self-assessment tab, I'm going to generate the same report for the same tax year, and I'm going to view this one, but you can see my income has now changed. So again, I just want to go through the same process. I'm going to send this revised report across to GoSimpleTax. It will take 2 seconds to send it across there. And if I close out of this screen and head back into the software, you'll see that those figures have now been updated. So I should have £20,000 of income, my £3,000 of expenditure, leaving me with £17,000 profit, which it looks like it has applied, and my tax figure has changed. I've got more income, so I need to pay more tax now. So just remember, if you do need to amend any of the figures within this self-employed section, SA 103, because it's been pulled from Coconut, you need to make your changes back in Coconut. What you can amend in here, though, are any of the tailoring questions. So if I click on Edit, you'll see all of the sort of ad hoc questions that relate to the self-employed section. So you can work through here and you can add any additional information, your address, your postcode, have you changed your your business name or information in the last 12 months? Are you VAT registered? All of these types of questions you can work through and you can amend no problem. That can all be done within GoSimpleTax. And that is how simple the integration is between Coconut and GoSimpleTax when you want to submit your self-assessment tax return. Thanks for watching. See you next time.